Hi, I'm Mike Evans from the Australian Security Academy, and in part two of my series about updates, what's happening in the private insurance investigation industry in 2020 in Australia, I'm going to explain all about the General Insurance Code of Practice, and the acronym is GICOP. Now, the General Insurance Code of Practice is a code of practice brought together by insurance companies that they are signatories to, that relates to how they are going to go about the receiving, handling, investigation, and paying or non-paying of insurance claims in Australia. Now, the code of practice only affects general insurance. So general insurance matters like your home and contents insurance on your house, if you are burgled, or if it catches fire, or if a contractor comes onto the house and into your house, onto your property, and your dog bites them. You're covered by general insurance for that through your public liability. So general insurance covers a whole range of different things. And the General Insurance Code of Practice is what covers the rules and regulations. I hate live broadcasts. Rules and regulations relating to the handling and payment of claims. So let's have a look at first the objectives of it. And the objectives of the General Insurance Code of Practice are to commit insurers to high standards of service, to promote better, more informed relations between insurers and you, the claimant, to maintain and promote trust and confidence in the general insurance industry, and to provide fair and effective mechanisms for resolving complaints you make about insurers, and to promote continuous improvement of the general insurance industry through education and training. Now, this is what affects you, the private investigator, because the insurance company is saying, well, we're signatories to this code of practice and we're going to have training on what's essential in this code of practice for our investigators or for our claims managers or for our salespeople. But this broadcast is about the investigators. So let's have a look at what's relevant in the code of practice to investigators. Firstly, you're going to have to know about Part 9 and have training in it, and that is supporting customers experiencing vulnerability. Now, it makes sense if someone's house has just burnt down that they're experiencing vulnerability. We all would, because that's something entirely unexpected. It's the most common risk that every homeowner or business owner faces. That's a fire on their property. And the General Insurance Code of Practice looks at that, and it details in its training requirements the support measures, the internal policies required, the identification of people experiencing vulnerability, the use of interpreters, and mental health. So that's in the training for General Insurance Code of Practice. And that's the relevant section in 2020 that you as a general insurance investigator must know. Now, secondly, Part 15, Claims Investigation Standards. This is a part you must know as well. So it's about general insurance investigation obligations. It goes right down to making appointments and keeping notes of your conversations when you make appointments. And it tells you here in the Code of Practice what you've got to be able to do. Now, this is really interesting because at the Australian Security Academy, where you graduated from, we told you to make notes of every conversation you make, of every appointment you make. And so you're ahead of the pack already with this Code of Practice compliance. You understand because you were trained appropriately. And what to do before any formal record of interview, and what rules and regulations for external investigators are, and surveillance, and also a guide on interview consent forms. So there'll be forms where the person has to consent to being interviewed. So all of that is in the Code of Practice training materials that you must understand as an investigator. So where do you get this training from? There are two organisations that do this training. One's the Australian New Zealand Institute or something. At the Australian Security Academy, the most important one, this is the certificate you receive when you complete your General Insurance Code of Practice training. So look, it's got your name on it. You've been successful in it. You have been awarded it. And you've got a membership of the Association of Investigation, Risk and Loss Adjusting Professionals with it. And basically it complies with the code of practice, and it lasts for 2 years. You don't have to renew your training for another 2 years unless they change it drastically in that time. So yes, you can study the General Insurance Code of Practice at the Australian Security Academy. So let's have a look at it. We'll bring it up. No, we won't. It's decided not to share, so we won't bring it up. But you can study the complete course on General Insurance Code of Practice at the Australian Security Academy. It will take you 4 hours to study. You have to answer 70 questions to pass it. When you pass it, I send to you your certificate of compliance and competency with the General Insurance Code of Practice. The cost of the whole thing is $60. So if you need to comply in 2020 with the 3 major general insurers' requirements for training in the General Insurance Code of Practice, email me, get on the phone, call me, Mike Evans at the Australian Security Academy. We can help you comply with that training. You don't have to go into the city, into a classroom full of sick people. You do this online. You do it online in your own time, and you could complete it in an afternoon. You can complete it on a Saturday afternoon or a Sunday afternoon. It's available all the time. So it has been since 2015. Some of the most prolific investigators in Australia have been involved in formulating this program. And it goes back not just to the trainers at the Academy, but the people in the industry, Mark Benedict, Pat Flynn, and dozens of others have had input into this training. So if you're required to comply with the General Insurance Code of Practice, get in touch with me. It's available today. It has been for 6 years now. So if you're looking to get it done and comply, don't miss out. Get in touch with me. I'm Mike Evans from the Australian Security Academy.